Hey guys, it's Noah. I'm back with a second installment of Q&A, which is awesome. I hope everyone enjoyed the first one. I enjoyed it. I love answering questions. If people are curious about stuff, it doesn't matter. In case this is your first time watching this video, I'm Noah Berglund. I'm a contributor to both Construction to Style and Resilience to Reform, and I'm a recovering addict. I served almost 7 years in prison. I've done a lot of things in life that I'm not proud of, and I've shared most of those things, if not all those things, on one of two of my sister's platforms. So my sister Morgan Molitor is the one that gave me the opportunity to first start sharing on Construction to Style, and from there we decided, the stuff I'm sharing and the feedback we're getting, we decided we need to do a resource that helps out people that are in our situation, which at the time was incarcerated. So being incarcerated, being in recovery on my side, and then on Morgan's side, being a loved one and dealing with all the destruction that comes from having somebody in your life that's in that downward spiral or incarcerated. There's just a lot of tough times, both physically and mentally, that come about, and we want to help out. We want to help those. We want to help the people that have been or going down the path that we've already been through. So, or been down. So, second Q&A. That's awesome. As long as you guys are asking questions, I'll be shooting videos and giving answers. So let's jump right into it. So, first question: can you tell us what it was like in prison? Can you tell us what it was like in the prison you were in? Absolutely. So I was in two different prisons. I started at a federal correctional institution, which is a low security prison in Milan, Michigan, which is close to Detroit, Michigan. It's just south, about 20 minutes of Ann Arbor, Michigan. And outside looking in, it's a tough looking spot. I remember when I was surrendering to it back in 2013, and when we pulled up, I was like, "Oh crap, Noah, what have you gotten yourself into?" It was scary. It's a prison that was built in 1930. It kind of looks a little, maybe not quite as intimidating as like Shawshank Redemption, but it wasn't pretty. There's double razor wire fences sky high, and guard towers and vehicles circling the perimeter with armed guards, and yeah, it wasn't a fun experience. But just like anything, once you get settled in, once you get used to it, once you figure out how everything works, it wasn't the end of the world. And my expectations were set about this high, and it overexceeded them. So it was a lot easier to adapt because I was quickly able to just move on from, okay, this situation sucks, to what can we do with what I have. And eventually, in those 18 months that I was there, I learned to be thankful. I learned to respect others. I learned to watch what I say, because there's consequences. And that's the biggest thing about in prison is you get out what you put in. So if you're respectful to cops and inmates, the cops and inmates are generally going to be respectful to you, and you can avoid controversy. Then I went to a federal prison camp in Yankton, South Dakota after 18 months, and I was there for just over 5 years. And that was a lot more laid back. It was a beautiful, I might as well say campus, because it looked like a park. There was flowers and trees, and the grass was watered and mowed constantly by the compound inmates, and it was well taken care of. There was a horticulture program there at the college. They offered 3 different degrees, so it was a much different atmosphere. But don't get me wrong, just as much crazy stuff, if not more, a lot more crazy stuff happened even in my first 18 months at Yankton Federal Prison Camp. I mean, fights, people on K2, drinking, drug use. If you guys got any questions about any stuff like that, I'm willing to talk about prison stories if that's what interests you. I've said, no topics off limits. So if you guys are curious about that, shoot your questions over. Next one, were there AA and NA and faith-based programs you attended? Absolutely. So I started attending back in May of 2008 when I finished the residential drug program at the Yankton Federal Prison Camp. I started attending an NA meeting, both book study, which was Monday nights, and then Tuesday nights was like a more of a large group open meeting, not really locked down topic. You would read the Just for Today daily meditation, and then we usually kicked off from there, and shares were spontaneous. And that's where I really started to grow, because I found out there was other people just like me going through the same struggles, if not had been to deeper depths, and they were doing all right. So that gave me encouragement, to know that, you know what, if they can do it, so can I, because I'm no different than these guys. And that meant a lot to me, just the relatability. And from what I get from the feedback from a lot of the readers when they read my stuff, that relatability helps them too, or helps them to understand whoever, if they're not an addict themselves, whoever they got in mind when they're reading my stuff. So that's super cool. And that's the feeling I get when I attend a NA meeting. So yes, there was AA and NA meetings. I don't know if there was in Milan. I assume there was, but see, I wasn't in the drug program in Milan. So I never heard of it. But in Yankton, absolutely. And guys so we were in the actual drug program, which everyone that lived in the building was either getting ready to go into the drug program, currently in the drug program, or were drug program completes. But the guys from Lloyd and Kingsbury, the other units, they would also come down on Monday night and Tuesday nights and attend the NA meetings. And there was also an AA meeting Thursday night. So there was 3 different meetings as far as AA, NA, faith-based, and those were the only meetings other than the residential programming that took place Monday through Friday in the basement from 8 a.m. to 3 a.m. or 3 p.m. So that's what we had there. Also, can you describe your moment of clarity? So that's the thing with me, is some people have this aha moment. Some people have this crazy rock bottom. Mine was when I got to treatment. So I took the residential drug program in prison because I got the year off. If I didn't get the year off, I probably wouldn't have took it. So maybe I didn't get into it for the right reason, but I don't half-ass anything. And that's what really was the reason why I found my recovery, was because I said, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it all the way. And one of the things that they promoted was reach out to your friends and family and do victim impact letters. So I reached out to numerous people, and I got back ones from my mom, my brother, my sister, my godparents, my grandparents, and they didn't hold back. I mean, they brought up my daughter and my actions and the consequences they're going to have on her life, how she's out there trying to play hockey by herself. Grandma doesn't know how to teach her these things. You're supposed to be out here. My sister brought up her honeymoon and how I basically ruined that, because when I self-surrendered, it was right after Morgan's wedding, and I wasn't even thinking about that because I got thrown in the shoe, which is another one. If you want to hear about it, when I first got to Milan, I got thrown in the shoe for 3 days, and that was not a good experience as far as an introduction to prison life. But hindsight, looking back, I didn't go to the shoe, which is also known as the hole, ever again, because I knew that sucks. I'm not going to do that again. So maybe it was a good thing. But my sister was on her honeymoon when I'm sitting in the shoes. So she's not enjoying herself as much as she could, or at all. And she's sitting there looking at her phone, waiting for updates about me. And has anyone heard from Noah? Has anyone heard from Noah? Me, being an addict and not thinking about anyone but himself, I wasn't thinking about her honeymoon. So Morgan, I'm sorry. I know I've already told you this, but it weighs on me. So there's no question about that. But back to my moment of clarity. So my moment of clarity came when these victim impact letters came, and my brother told me he was prepared to cut me out of his life if this happens again. He, you know, he mentioned, Mom and Morgan might be there next time, but I'm not going to be in that one. It was tough love I needed. I needed to, even though I was in a spot that sucked, it's still, I can just, when I'm thinking about that today, so that's what keeps me going strong. So my moment of clarity was when I got these victim impact letters. Everyone that wrote them, I thank you so much. They meant the world to me. They mean the world to my recovery, and they're a big reason why I'm sitting here today talking about it. So yeah, that was my moment of clarity. Next, you talked in the last video about Melrose and about expectations coming out of prison. How has that part of your life been? It has been the toughest part of my release, because I had certain expectations about what our relationship was going to look like, and we're working through those kinks. But right when I got out, it was really great. We're riding on this high, Daddy's home, and then it really started to, that feeling wore off, and I'm thinking I didn't meet all her expectations about what it was going to like having me home, and I was invading her personal space. Because we're kind of two different people. She's used to having space. She's used to doing her own thing here and there. And I come home and I want all this attention. I want attention from her. I want to shower her with attention. And we really started to clash. And over the last couple months, I've learned to just respect that space. I learned to not tease her about things like boys and not to make her feel uncomfortable. So I just sit back and I do my thing. I tell her I love her. I compliment her when I can about her intelligence, about her artistic ability, about her Fortnite skills, and I wait for her to come to me on the lovey-dovey stuff and the hugs and the cuddles, and I'm just patient on that. And I'm a touchy-feely guy. I like the physical contact. But you live and you learn, and now I know to give her a space. And since I've learned that, things have gotten a lot better in our relationship, and they continue to progress. So that's been awesome. Next question. It also reminded me of the post on Construction to Style to Melrose's friends' parents. Has there been any pushback from friends' parents? Absolutely not. I have met for sure 2, possibly 3 friends' parents, and they have been nothing but amazing. There's a couple just right in the neighborhood, and one down the street, he goes on walks. He goes on my walks with me, and swings by. Another one on the other side of the street. She has been amazing. She's offering to give me a free photo shoot with me and my daughter and pay for it. And I couldn't have had a warmer welcome when I got home from Melrose's friends' parents. And I don't know if the letter I wrote has any, if that played any part in that, but I don't think so. I think they're just good-hearted people that realize that people make mistakes, and that's awesome. Last question. Has it been a platform to show them people can change? Absolutely. That's what Resilience to Reform is about. Is we're trying to lift the stigma around addiction, around mental health, around incarceration, around social screwed up problems, raise awareness to white privilege, and just promote healthy relationships. Doesn't matter if that's around race, around incarceration, around addiction, whatever. We're here to talk about it, and we're here to raise awareness about it, to lift people's voices up about it, and in the end, show that people can change. We're all about giving everyone a second chance, and we don't care what you've been through. We don't care what you've done in the past, as long as you're willing to make steps and progress to the future of being a better person. we're all for it, and we want to promote your story, and we want to show the world that everyone deserves a second chance. So I hope this helped. Second installment of Q&A with Noah. If you guys have any more questions, shoot them by in DMs. You can drop them in the comments either on this video or in our Instagram, our Facebook. Follow us. We're on Twitter. We're on Pinterest. We're doing a bunch of cool stuff, and we're trying to be a platform that people get something out of. We're a resource. So if you're a teacher and you're wondering if you can use our stuff in your classroom setting, please do. We love it. So we appreciate you guys. Stay strong one day at a time, and until next time.